One of the most important tools for SEO and, of course, website creation is an HTML editor. And one of the most famous tools is Macromedia Dreamweaver. Now, I fibbed a little bit because Macromedia was just purchased by the Adobe Systems Corporation. So it is still Macromedia because it's advertised that way on a couple of the boxes out there. But right smack in the middle of this training is the transition, and you're now seeing Macromedia Dreamweaver 8 show up as Adobe Systems Dreamweaver. So just a little special note there. If I slip and I say Macromedia, I do in fact mean Adobe Systems Dreamweaver. So we are not learning Dreamweaver here. This is not an introduction to Dreamweaver course. Lynda.com has wonderful CDs and DVDs, and inside the online library, there's some terrific new movies on Learning 8. Now, do you need 8 to actually take part in the hands-on section? No, you do not. If you are an HTML coder, if you are comfortable with front page, Go Live, or any other kind of tool, you can certainly use it in our hands-on section. And like I said, in several dozen movies back, in the Black Hat Trick Exposed movie where I had Dreamweaver up just for a little while, you don't even have to use Dreamweaver for the tutorial. You can simply and passively watch, and I will explain things. And we're not going to talk about cross-platform right now either. But what I will do from a very high level and just very quickly give you some overviews of what Dreamweaver does and how we will be using it in the hands-on section. So here we go. When you fire up Dreamweaver, over on the right-hand side, you have various tabs here that we can go through for seeing our assets, our content like this. We can work with cascading style sheets. We can look at our files if we have any files in here set up. We can actually navigate out to our desktop. Across the top, we have our menu up here with File, New, Open, all very basic things. We can, of course, insert photos and images and work with tables and more. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Modify things, text, and all that. When we want to actually start a brand new website, we go over to Create New, and we can start Cold Fusion sites, PHP, active server pages, JavaScript pages, and more. On the right, there's even folders that have some great templates inside of some of these. If you're brand new to creating websites, you can do a starter page. So it's great. Even if there's a problem with Dreamweaver, you'll see something dynamic down here. For instance, there's a free patch for Dreamweaver available right now. And you can go to the Adobe site /Macromedia and download a patch. And over here are files that were previously open. Someone was creating something, me, I think. And yeah, that was me. I just remembered. And these are earlier files. So I could click here and go back to things I created earlier. But again, very quick, very high level. If I do want to create a new HTML page, I would just simply start by clicking right there. And across the top, we have some really, really cool buttons which actually show the behind-the-scenes aspect of a web page. And remember, if you're a beginner or a novice, you don't have to know HTML. All you have to do is know how to copy and paste, because that's as complicated as we're going to get in Dreamweaver for the hands-on is basically copy and paste, and I'll explain that later. So right now, what we're seeing is an area where I can actually type and design. And Dreamweaver is a WYSIWYG HTML editor. What you see is what you get. That's what that stands for. And I can come into here, I can come in here and change that text, for instance. And anytime I want to affect that text, for instance, maybe I want to change it to Arial, I can come down here and click on that. And if I want to change the size and make it a little bit smaller, I'm slipping up here, sorry you guys, a little bit smaller, a little bigger, I can do that. If I want to highlight it, I can come in here and change the color to, say, a nice green like that. And this is called the Property Inspector, and this is how we can affect text and photos and all kinds of cool stuff. Now, I mentioned up here these buttons. What I'm working in right now is called Design View, but we can also work in two other views. I can come over to Code, and right there behind the scenes, I can actually see the HTML code and the head tags and all that. Again, if you're a newbie to this, if you're a novice, don't freak out, because I will explain what a lot of this stuff does. And there's the HTML SEO that I wrote in what's called the H1 tag. And I can even look at my design view and the code view simultaneously by splitting it right there. So watch this. This is what really put Dreamweaver on the map, is I can highlight that O, and it's highlighting it in the code at the same time. So this is really cool. Helps you design here visually and lets you see what's going on in the code in back of this page. All right, let's just go back to the design view. And if I wanted to import a photograph or something, I could now do it. I could go up to Insert an Image. I could navigate out to my desktop or my asset folder and bring something in. And there's a lot of advanced things too. I can come in here and put in some flash and different things. I can get the page property. This is kind of a favorite of mine. I can come in here and actually change the color of this background. Let's do maybe a kind of sand color, and I can actually see what it's going to look like, just like that. And I can change the links and their size and more. So very high level look at Dreamweaver. That's what you can do. And from an SEO standpoint, the areas that we're going to work in are these and more. Again, I'm not going to mention them all, but our page title. So you will never do this, will you? But you could do something like this just for fun. Home page. We're not going to do that, but I've put in a page title and a little tip here. If you haven't saved your page, this untitled number 1 page, there's a little star there and it's saying, Richard, why don't you go ahead and save that, all right? So I can go File, and I'll save this as, for instance, here on my desktop, and I'll just call that index.html. I'll hit the Enter key on the PC, and I've now saved the page. I know it's saved because that's actually gone right there. And if we wanted to actually put in some meta tags in here, we can go over to our HTML section, and there's this real cool menu bar here that's visual, and right there are meta tags, meta, keyword, description, and some other ones. And we're going to be working with the first 3 right there. So this is very high level. Again, I'm not trying to teach Dreamweaver here, but I am trying to give you an overview. And one more time, go to the online library, or if you have the money, buy a CD or DVD by Linda Wyman, lynda.com, and learn some basics of Dreamweaver. Or one more time, you don't have to know Dreamweaver for the hands-on section. You can just watch.